not that bad. It's
All views expressed by the hosts and guests in this podcast are solely their opinions and do not reflect the opinions of their respective employers. Guests and hosts may maintain positions in the assets discussed in this podcast. This podcast is for informational purposes only, and nothing in the podcast is intended to be financial, legal, or even life advice.
GM, welcome to More Than Speculation. In today's episode, we have a guest from Mode, James. Maybe right off the bat, before we start with the rapid fire questions, just very quick intro about yourself.
Yeah, so I've been working in the space, mostly Ethereum, DeFi ecosystem for around 6-7 years. Before that was building fintech businesses, and I've been very focused on kind of like this intersection of DeFi AI for the last year. Launched Mode in January 2024, so pretty much exactly a year ago. And yeah, it's been a crazy year. So been exciting. It's been exciting, but yeah, happy to kind of jump in and tell you more about all of that.
Okay, let's get you warmed up with some rapid questions. The first one: community, tech, or price?
I'd say like that's a great start. I mean, I think at the end of the day, you need like all three, but price is pretty damn important. As I've learned from a coin being down, it's much easier when coin is going up.
Okay, 1 to 10, how product ready is DeFi, DeFAI?
I would say it's like 4 or 5 out of 10.
What do you think is the end game for DeFi?
I think it's essentially like having your own OTC desk that can do really complex things just as an agent. So I can just be like, hey, if like the Fed says this, then I want you to go and put these positions on, and I want you to manage the risk. And I also want you to take out some of my, or like leverage up my position on Aave, and then do something else. So like an agent, and interfaces that can do really complex things and react to really complex like changes in scenarios.
What is the blocker for DeFi?
I think the main blocker is like actually having like AI on chain. I think like this is something that we need to think about, or verifying what agents do. That's probably one of the main blockers, because I think like we can only get so far with like smart automation. And we need to kind of think about, is this actually DeFi or is it just smart automation?
What is the most promising DeFi utility, agent, or project right now?
I think that like I'm not that like super bullish on like terminals. I'm much more interested in like the data layer. I think like I'm bullish on like terminals and interfaces for sure, but I think the data layer is where like we're going to see the most kind of innovation. And I'm pretty into BitTensor ecosystem. We're building a sub now, and there's a lot of cool stuff happening there, and a lot of smart people.
Got it. Honestly, up until now, I still hate how we coin a new term that sounds exactly the same as DeFi. Like, can we change it? I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's just like DeFi. Okay. Anyway, I think James, like I want to start by I guess just asking the why, because it seems like you have went all into this space, DeFAI, and like what inspired you to make that switch and to like go all in, basically?
Yeah, so when we were like gearing up to launch Mode, we were focused on like trying to bring like what we thought was the most innovative stuff to market in DeFi, right? So at that time, it was like restaking and like restaked assets and like giving people ways to build new strategies with these type of assets. So we kind of built the chain around that. But like agents was like one of the key things we wanted to do back then. We just didn't have time, and like Mode grew super fast. We got to like 700 mil TVL in a few months, and it was like so much to like manage. We had like 70 protocols, and yeah, things were going super well. And then after token launch, essentially the market changed, narratives changed, and we saw like, yeah, the ecosystem start to change as well. And what we'd like learned in season 1 and season 2 of Mode was that a lot of like users just weren't optimizing their on-chain strategies like at all. They were either taking like way too much risk or way too little risk, and they weren't really navigating DeFi very well. So we thought about like, how can we make things easier for them? Should we build out like vaults? Should we build out a new application layer that enables them to do like DeFi tasks really easily? And at that time, like we saw AI basically taking over everything, and Web 2 like agents became like the hot topic. And we're like, okay, well, it kind of makes sense that like you'll just have agents for DeFi, right? So these people that don't know how to properly manage like risk will have an agent do it for them. That makes a lot of sense. So yeah, we started to kind of dive into this and realize like there were a lot of great teams building in this space. But no one had really like got stuff live, right? It was like, I wanted DeFi agents for myself. So the goal over the last like 5-6 months was like, let's just support teams, just get stuff live, on Mode and like managing people's money. Just small amounts. Like we're not trying to get like $10 million into an agent that's going to go AWOL. It was like, let's just like try and get stuff on chain and start learning. So yeah, that's exactly what we did. And yeah, it's insane to see how quickly it's grown. We initially were calling it AI-Fi, but like that didn't really seem to take off. And I think it's mainly because AI-Fi doesn't necessarily feel like a crypto term. It's kind of just like AI and finance. And like DeFAI, I guess people like when you read it, it kind of makes sense because it's like decentralized finance AI. But like when you say it, it sucks. So like,
Sure.
yeah, here we are.
Whoever wins, right? I mean, I remember back in the days, people were saying that like Ethereum doesn't make sense because no Chinese can spell it. But yeah. All right. So I want to give some credit to Mode Network. So like the reason why I was a heavy Mode user, farm users and stuff is like because their execution on details and catching the narrative was strong. Like I like how they market the thing. They have one of the most easy to use. First. I don't hold any Mode. I haven't invested in it at the moment. So this is not me shilling. It's just me appreciating and execution of a team. Like they have one of the best DApp dashboards that shows every part of things to find all the DApps. Like I don't think people realize how hard it is to go through DeFi Llama, run through various 10 DApps, go to the medium and check how to farm and what does everything work, because the dashboard was smooth. You can claim things better. It was essentially the yield game. They were able to get OP grants as well. Like I think the execution of the team was sharp. The only thing was the narrative shift off. It was hard it's very hard when narrative is not on the side, right? But the reason why I stayed on top and I kept following Mode even though the hype is not there is because I believe in teams that can execute, just like what I did with Pendo, because bond market was shit in 2021, but they were able to capture the ASD5 thing. So when I saw Mode all in on DeFi AI, basically, I'm just gonna say AI, okay? And whenever I say DeFi, I mean DEFAI, okay? So when I saw them tagging on this, I didn't really get it, and I can see the kind of small struggles that as a team will be able to tag on, because let's say essentially in the end of the day, it's like routing the best route or finding the best coin and trading, right? Essentially, I'm keen to hear how did you structure to tag on or all in this narrative in terms of, let's say, product launch or strategies or things to make this appealing to people?
Yeah, so we like went pretty all in on this. Like we kind of shifted the focus of like the team internally in May, June. We started building out some like internal products. Like we built out an iOS app that would like have agents manage stuff. We built out like a load of internal stuff, started playing around. Then in, say, July, August, we started giving grants and like started personally investing in different projects that were kind of building the space just to start to learn a bit more. And then in October, we published this piece, like the AI-fi economy. And really like that was focused on like, this is where we think DeFi is going, right? This is what we think is going to happen. And I made this statement. I think like 80% of transactions are going to be done by agents in the future. Right now we have like bots and we have all this kind of random stuff happening on chain, and people, use different apps, interfaces. And kind of the point of that was like, we're probably not just going to go to Uniswap's front end anymore. We're going to use like some kind of agent based front end to interact, to get like, to move positions on DeFi. We ran an accelerator, called it like AI-fi Accelerator. The projects are actually going to be presenting soon. That's been like a 3-month long accelerator. Again, it was to like bring in some great teams building cool stuff and support them as much as we could, learn how they can like help build the Moat ecosystem. We ran some hackathons. We ran one with AI16Z and Crossmint. We've basically built out like all the integrations necessary so anyone can build an agent super easily that integrates with all the Moat ecosystem apps. So that's kind of a key thing. Like, there's a lot of integration work to be done when you want to like build out DeFi agents. And there's a lot of thought that goes into like, making sure the agent is like, it only does specific things, specific tasks. It doesn't go like off and just like do random stuff. And then, we saw like the first agents go live beginning of December. And the first one was like an agent from Giza. We also were running a project with Olas or Tonolas, a Modius agent, like a trading agent. And then Amplify also launched an agent that's focused on like BTC yield generation. So we all put this like under an AI agent app store. And now we're focused on like, and we also launched a BitTensor subnet on testnet for synthetic data because we saw that as like a gap for agents. But basically like right now we're thinking of stuff in like 3 layers, like application interface layer, data layer, and then like the actual like mode L2 execution layer.
Nice. What do you think is the biggest blocker for an AI builder to get viral or to get product market fit?
I think it's like pretty straightforward right now if you can do something novel, right? That
attention
actually
game
uses, some kind of like AI stuff. I think that like the Fraser launch was awesome.
Yes.
Where it was like, you're chatting to this like agent and you're trying to jailbreak it or whatever it was to get the money. But like that hook was awesome because everyone's like, oh shit, this is cool. Then like, oh, actually we've got a whole framework and it's way more sick than that. There was this super cool project from a guy who built this, project on Base called FriendPet. And he actually launched like this AI project, but like it didn't have a token and it doesn't look like it's got much traction. So I think the other thing is like having a token. It's also a good way to get immediate viral attention.
100%.
People are hungry in the trenches right now.
The thing is, like, I think people looking for these right now, there's no people buying or playing these things that are not in the trenches. I mean, like I think everyone just have to accept the fact that if you're not going to be able to be as big as virtuals, then you have to target trenches users. And I think that's the biggest thing. What do you think it would be the moat? Like, I think all these agents or everything has no moat, and I don't think they're building one. So I'm trying to pick your brain. It's okay if you don't have an answer right away.
No, I think that there's two ways to like build a moat. One is like a good user experience on the front end. So I would say like there's this app on Solana called Moonshot. It's like Moonshot Crypto. It's like an iOS app, super slick design and like really easy to use. But like it's essentially a DEX, right? Because all you're doing is buying and selling tokens, and they've just kind of made it like really nice, and like you're using like USDC, so you like have abstracted away like the crypto element, and that's like one moat, a really nice user experience on the front end. It's like a really nice interface for DeFi. I think that's going to be one side. And then the other side is like a data layer. So the agents are actually like smart. And that's kind of why we built this BitTensor subnet, because a lot of tasks in DeFi, especially when it comes to like LP management, portfolio management, you need to have like good forecasting data. And essentially like it doesn't really exist. It's pretty hard to find. So that's what the subnet's for. That's like hopefully going to be the advantage for people building on Mode.
Can you share a little?
Got it. So wait, so yeah, like I was just gonna double down on that. Like on the subnet, yeah, can you share a bit more? So like you're creating a subnet which is optimized to get more on-chain market data because there is a need for the agent to have, I guess, like forward-looking, a bit of like a predictive nature. Yeah, do you mind like just sharing a bit more about that?
Yeah, exactly. So we built this subnet, and essentially what like the purpose of the subnet is it's like BitTensor is like a big data science competition, right? Like thousands of the smartest data scientists in the world, and they're like miners, and what they're doing is they're sending their like data to the subnet. In our case, they're sending hundreds of Monte Carlo simulations of the potential like future price paths that Bitcoin may take. And the validators on our subnet are judging how accurate these are over time, right? So continuously judging these price paths. So the kind of point of like us building in this way is like we're creating a lot of synthetic data. So every 5 minutes, miners are submitting 100% potential price paths for Bitcoin, and they're being judged on these continuously. And if you've got like 100 miners, that's like 10,000 price paths every 5 minutes. So you get like a shitload of data. So if you imagine like when Tesla are trying to get their autonomous vehicles to like learn how to drive, they can't just put like 1 million cars on the road. But what they can do is create like synthetic data and like simulations. So essentially they can train these cars without them all having to be on the road. And they will have like some cars on the road, but they'll also have like cars training in these like, synthetic environments.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is essentially creating this for like the future price of BTC. And what this means is that agents can then train on this, and they can hopefully have much better forecasting abilities. And it's useful for like example, like the key example for us is like setting a range on like a LP position, right, on Uniswap V3. If you want to set like when you're trying to figure out like how to earn the most fees, you want to figure out like a tight range, right? So you put like, I don't know, BTC, you think BTC will trade between like 85 and 95K. So you put that range. Essentially, with this kind of like synthetic data, you'll be able to get like much more precision around like the probabilities you think the price will trade between versus like the actual price. So I think that's the key thing with the subnet. Like it's not predicting the actual price. It's predicting like the possible ranges that it thinks the price will trade.
Nice. Just to quickly summarize, correct me if I'm wrong, right? So like essentially it's like, you think AI's biggest edge will be one of the AI's edge, it will be data, and you're leveraging on BitTensor's incentive model for people to produce price feed, and then through there the AI will predict or measure those data to get like, let's say they're predicting the best performing LP range or when to rebalance, all those kind of stuff. From there, we'll bring better user experience towards users on Mode or as a middleware that can be connected to other agents. And this is me speculating, is that as a chain of Mode, Mode can use that as a, let's say, SDK kit or something to invite better builders to come build on top of here, and thus making a better AI chain.
Exactly.
Nice. Okay.
Nailed it.
All right. Let's be real now. We hear, as you mentioned, price makes sense, actionable and make money. Let's talk. What can a DGen user like me on Mode do right now?
So right now, like, I think like the most interesting thing is probably like our current token model, which is like Mode and VE Mode. And essentially, we built like VE Mode as a way to direct ecosystem incentives. You can get your Mode, you can lock it, and then you can vote for different protocols on Mode to get incentives. season 4 is coming up, and we're also going to add like agents into the mix. We have a few projects launching. One's called DAAO, which is an agentic DAO. So humans will control an agent which runs the DAO. That's going to be super cool. We've got a few DAOs launching, so like there's whitelist spots and stuff available, I think, right now. Then Chirper is launching like a virtual style platform, but it's got a lot of super powerful features which are being integrated to like things that like the agents can do on chain, like DeFi actions. Or you can like deposit into agents like Giza, which has a stablecoin agent. There's not like, there's a high yield. It's like 10, 12%. But yeah, we're not talking like crazy degen yields. But, Giza's probably going to launch a token at some point in the future. So could be a good play to, start agent farming.
It's points live.
Yeah. Points live, yeah, go back to points hell. I tell you what, like one of the most difficult things that we've ever done was like design our point system, and we were tracking like every single transaction on chain we were like giving points to. And that was like so much data, and it was like a nightmare. And at the time we were like, oh my God, why are we paying like GCP and AWS like so much to just have all this data? But actually when we came around to like building this agent stuff, we're like, oh shit, we have all this great data to train on. So that's kind of convenient.
Nice. Okay.
That's interesting.
Let's one more question first. So what about for people that are less degen, want to learn AI? They are, let's say they missed, or they are holding Tau. They think about virtuals, but think it's a bit degen. What can they do on Mode, or what should they read on Mode? Let's say they let themselves convince themselves because they're less degen. But like, what do you think is the best shield or best direction for them to read on it?
I think there's going to be like a few interesting things happening. So like, we're going to keep adding agents to like our AI agent app store, so people can see that. It's just app.mode.network/AI. I would just like look around the dashboard, look around the ecosystem. Then there's going to be loads more like tokenized agents launching. Then like in the BitTensor ecosystem, there's like this big upgrade where they're moving to a DTAO, which is basically going to make, my understanding is it's basically going to make like BitTensor and subnets like virtuals agents. Like they'll have like a similar dynamic. There's like bonding curve, and towers like emissions are distributed to the bonding curve, and like you don't have an agent token or like a subnet token, but you have something similar. But essentially you can start to speculate on subnets. So I think this is just going to be insane.
Bro,
it's going to be like absolutely insane.
The Ponzi lover in me got like ding when I read that thing. It's like Polkadot plus virtual plus Burger. I'm like, yo, shit, this cross-generational Ponzi, bro.
Yeah, and like some of those subnets are like pretty serious. Like, I think a prediction for the year would be that like if you wanted to go mega bull, it would be that like a subnet's going to hit like $1 billion valuation, and like, I mean, like saying like a virtuals agent will hit $1 billion valuation. I think it's pretty close, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's happened.
AI XBT is very close. It's like 800 million something. Yeah.
There we go. So yeah, I think a subnet will there'll maybe be a few subnets that like have like a relative value of like $1 billion.
I'm curious on one thing, because I've been saying this in some of our other podcasts, so I would be remiss not to ask. But for DeFi AI, like, do you think there will be a potential or like a possibility for a new type of asset issuance or money game? Because to me right now, it feels like it's just optimization mostly, right? Which usually that doesn't translate so well to like valuation premium. So curious if you have a thought about any ideas.
I think that's a pretty good question. I think that it will be like optimization for a fairly long time. And I think that's going to be possible because people are generally pretty bad at using DeFi and they don't really optimize. There's so much to optimize, basically. And I think the biggest thing to optimize right now is risk. And thinking about risk and like outsourcing that to agents is really important because, yeah, as we've seen with like some protocols, there's still a lot of risk that might not be clear within them. But yeah, hopefully agents can figure that out. I think that new type of asset issuance, new type of assets, I think there'll be like some new types of like money games on chain, which will be pretty cool. And we might see like agents deploy like their own protocols or own games, which maybe other agents play. But yeah, new types of assets. I think that's an interesting design space. But yeah, I'm not sure yet. Like if an agent created a new type of a bond, like, or I don't know, something like that, that could be cool.
Well, talking about product, what do you think? Which other chains do you think have done well in positioning themselves in like AI?
I think that Solana and Base have obviously done extremely well, but like they do extremely well at everything. So yeah, everyone's like keeps comparing us to Solana and Base. I'm like, that's really cool, but like we're literally a team of like I think like 18 people, trying to like be scrappy and like build shit. Yeah, it's gonna be a while before we can compete with Solana or Base. But I think then, like, I really like what teams like Fowler are building. I think they're building some awesome stuff. I think that other chains, I think Near have built some really cool stuff, like Eliezer.
Oh,
yeah,
this is actually another thing I want to get on as well. Like Near is like the AI chain, but like maybe I don't know what to do there other than buying Near, I guess. It's like I love
that's a separate conversation. It's gonna take hours, bro.
I'm like a mid-curve guy that went into degen mode. Like I'm like the typical DeFi evaluation, how to farm, blah 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 blah. Then I was like, oh shit, attention, buy that token. And then right now I struggle to go back to why I like what mid-curve or non-meme things I should buy for AI, which is one of the reasons why I really wanted to invite you to come over as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's a DeFi AI category now on CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap, so you can just buy the meta, right? Just market buy every one of those.
There you go. I love it.
I think there's another project. There are some really sick projects that have like framework. They're building like frameworks, right? So Phrase is a good example. I think like it's likely that some of these will go off and launch chains, or go off and launch like much bigger things. Like Phrase has already launched their framework. There's a project I really like called Yes No Error, like YNE. They are kind of like DeSci, but kind of DeFi. They're like doing this project that they essentially scan. They use ChatGPT to go through every research paper ever written and look for errors. And they've already like found loads of like really critical errors in like lots of research papers, but they've now they're like building out a much bigger framework to enable this across like lots of different things. So I think like frameworks are probably the thing to look for, right? Like has a project like broadened out. I think Hollow World have also done something like that. They're now launching a full platform. I think that's what you got to look for, like which projects are building something much bigger than like where's the big vision, because AI is moving extremely fast, and like if you can execute and have a big vision, then you can build some like pretty significantly sized businesses, protocols, tokens.
Got it. No, I think it makes sense because the playbook is kind of like the reverse. Like in a sense, they're launching like some viral.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think that like as a builder, the key thing is just to like stay focused, and not listen to like a lot of the noise that happens on like crypto Twitter or within like your community. Just like stay focused and like stick to your guns of what you think needs to happen. and just kind of, yeah, just like relentlessly build, because as you like build stuff and collaborate with like other teams, you kind of like start to see a lot more like cool stuff emerge that you can build. So I think that's why we've kind of been early to these things, is because pretty much all our team are like active DeFi users, like very active. And like that's like part of our hiring policy, right? You need to be actively using things to understand them. So like, yeah, that's kind of, I think, a main unlock. Just make sure you're constantly using stuff and constantly like jamming with like interesting teams on what they're building. And yeah, the kind of the road becomes clear. But yeah, I don't know. Being a builder is kind of tough. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone.
Hey, bro. This is supposed to be good PR.
No, I mean, it's also, yeah.
I respect
I mean,
that.
yeah, build stuff. It's awesome.
100%.
I think being an L2 founder is kind of tough.
Yeah.
So I'm also friends with loads of other L2 founders, and it's kind of a grind.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Respect. Okay. Do you have any question for us?
What do you think is, do you think it's going to stay, this DeFi AI, or do you think it's like a fleeting trend?
I believe it will be, so some part of me think that it's, three part. I think it might end up like DAOs back in the old days, where it's a cool concept, everything failed, and then we come back to it. I think right now we're treating it as meme, and I think it's going to stay this way. I think product is going to be a bit fluffy, because, to be honest, like, as you may know, building a DeFi agent or is not that hard, actually. It's just time and effort. And I think a lot of the reason why I asked you about mode is that I think I can see a lot of OG DeFi protocol implement certain DeFi agency and use liquidity as a mode that can just optimize that. So I'm thinking how to trade this as well, like, because like the adoption curve is going to be like this, the price like you know this how that goes. But I think it's going to stay. Personally, like I use a lot of bridge, I use a lot of protocols, but sometimes I'm just lazy. Like I used to have some guys that would help me verify. So like I'm 100% not optimized just because I'm doing so much things. I used to be a lot more focused, but right now I've joined this KOL thing where I care about like social, like I'm a social attention whore now. Like I get hype from likes more than yield. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I just enjoy it more. I don't even use Instagram before this. Like suddenly I feel like, oh, someone care about me. You know what I mean? Like, and then and I slowly lost myself there. But like I need to figure out like how to bridge there. Like I wish there's a ChatGPT, even though I don't trust they doing stuff on my behalf. And maybe like TG meme coin a bot, like putting small amount of money to do things for me is good. But I want someone to recommend me 100%. Like that's the no brainer for sure. But yeah,
makes sense. I think like one thing that's super interesting with like a lot of these like new AI like funds is like some things like you said earlier, like a lot of things trade like memes, and you know, we know from like multiple cycles that doesn't last forever.
Yeah.
Like things trade for memes until like they, you know, a real product is delivered, and then it trades like a real product. And if no real product is delivered, it doesn't trade like anything, right? It just loses attention and loses value. So yeah, I think we've seen that with some like DAOs that have basically like no treasury. They have like 200K and they're trading at like some crazy valuation because they're like AI or whatever. So I think we've seen that also with some funds. There's like some funds that have like no AUM, but they have like an agent token, which is like essentially a governance token. So you're just like,
what's up?
But like, how do you return the fund, or like what?
The thing, yeah, like, so I think AI is very interesting because it's going to be one of the things that the product will have product market fit, but the token won't have product market fit. Like, you know how position managers is actually a good product market fit, but their token, no one wants to buy them. And then like I wish there's an AI that can help me rebalance how I want it. I want someone to write my my algo trade for me, which like because back in the days I had a dev to do it for me, right. But if there's an AI agent that can help me at least doing 70% work, that's good. But like, it's a tough business model, right? From a protocol point of view, it's too real to be speculative, but at the same time, the profit is not high enough for valuation in some sense.
Do you think like if the agent took a fee, like a 1% fee, to like buy and burn its own token, that'd be a viable business model?
The thing is, like, I don't know. Like, it's going to be one of those cases that I'll like it at the start, and then I know people will stop talking about it, and then suddenly you can buy it cheaply, like house swap, those kind of stuff. The trade is going to be like house swap, where people forget about it, then you can buy the dip again. But like, you cannot. How do I say it? Like, you. It's a very rare case. TG bot. Like, you need to have some Ponzi in it. Like, what is that? Unibot terminal. Like, you need to have like that. What was that token called? Like the sales tax. It's basically like sales tax token plus TG bot to make it. Yeah. It's basically that to make it make sense, right? And the only reason why people are willing to pay 1% fee on things is because they need to ape and they think you can make more money, right? And then, to be honest, Virtual is just a launchpad, right? It's not AI that made it good. It's the Ponzinomics plus narrative. It's still the two main components. And then once you go too real on the product side, that becomes GMX, that becomes like all those kind of things, right? So it's a two spectrum of trading, in my opinion. So yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I'm definitely mid-curving right now.
Ponzinomics advisor position is opening up at Mode. So
hey, what's up, bro? Bro, you know, I made my like, bro, I'm not even gonna lie, like I'm a mid-curve, like my background and my things are very mid-curve, very fundamental, but I made my money from Axie Infinity, ohms, and all this fucking shit. Like, so I'm literally like the torrent guy all the time. I literally yeah, but
Ponzinomic guy who keeps hitting value-based tokens.
Jesus, it's hard, man. All right, one last question, bro. What is required to make it in crypto?
Just like a lot of determination, I think. That's it. Just like being terminally online, a lot of determination, and yeah, I would say like being like massively like risk taking on the risk spectrum.
Nice.
I think you should try and work with the most well-known company you can find, and then make friends with as many people as possible, and like hyper network through Twitter by like constantly publishing things you're building, even if it seems like mundane and boring. Just like continuously like ship stuff if it's just anything. And yeah, I think like joining protocols and joining teams is pretty important. I don't think like people who do like full solo stuff, I don't think they see as much benefit. I think you like need to like leverage brand. And yeah, you can easily find jobs, right? If you just like ship stuff and just like post it around and like send it to people. I think also one thing I always do is like, I like follow up with people like 4 or 5 times, even if they don't reply. And it's like annoying, but I think it kind of works. So like, also don't be scared to just like constantly like ping people.
100%. Like, cause like when it works, it's grind. When it doesn't work, it's just annoying, but it's fine because no one would know.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think it's very, very, very underrated to as a skill to at least work for a protocol for a few months, because like you need to, even as a trader, you want to know like from a builder point of view, how should you launch like the airdrop? How would you control the narrative? And then as a trader is good as well. And as a builder, you need to be a trader as well. And obviously with seed investing or liquidity funds or liquid funds background will definitely help the whole scenario as well. And I think, you should experience everything, to be honest.
Absolutely.
All right. I think that's a wrap. Thank you.
Thanks so much.